WilkinsonEffect.com. I'm a transformation life coach and a holistic practitioner, and I'm making this video for you today from Mount Shasta, California. So we've spent the last 6 years rebuilding our financial situation several times over to see if it was a good fit for us or not. And in doing so, we have lost a lot of friendships. We have made different choices in our careers. I actually went through all of my schooling to become a holistic practitioner and a transformation coach. So there was a lot of things going on during that time as we were rebuilding ourselves. But visiting Washington State, because that's somewhere that we are wanting to move our family. And so I want to tell you about the things that I was experiencing this past week as we were going through that journey, because I know a lot of people feel these kinds of things. For leaving, I had incredible anxiety. And as someone who has had complex PTSD, that's postpartum, that post-motions in me, and I get major anxiety attacks and panic attacks sometimes. Not as frequent as before, but still to have a really bad tension headache. And it was to the point where I was feeling really physically sick, and I did a relaxing bath. I did aromatherapy. I did flower essences. I did EFT. I was like pulling everything out of my toolbox and using it, because those are the times when you really want to use everything that you've learned and incorporate it, because it's going to help you take yourself to the next level. And I was doing all of those things, and I was processing 6 years of emotions. So you can probably imagine how intense that was for me. And it got to the point where my husband asked me, too big of a change? What if you lose everything again? What if, right? And it just starts going off in your head. And I know that so many other people experience this, and it stops us from doing great things. If we listen to that fear, instead of pulling out our faith and using all of the tools that we've taken the time to learn and implementing those things, the fear can stop us. So what I did is I was using all of my tools, and I slowed down the chatter in my mind by recognizing what was going on. And sometimes that's hard to do. If you do this, something bad can happen. So just don't do anything at all. But then we stay in that place of being stuck. And a lot of times that place of being stuck is somewhere that is already very uncomfortable for us, somewhere that it's not going to allow us to grow. And there are a lot of people that stay in that place even though, it's not what you want, it's what you know. So there is educated risks. So it's not like I'm just up and moving my family to Washington without having done a ton of research. I'm making sure that I'm informed. And that's the most important thing, is being informed about taking your risks. And then feeling that fear, recognizing it for what it is, and then going ahead and taking that next blind step and going through with it anyways. So with a lot of anxiety, but feeling much better the next morning, I got up at 4 a.m., all of my stuff packed, kids in the car, husband driving. And I went, and it was a really nice trip. It was emotional. It was very emotional for me, because I still had, some of those fears. Moving away from my extended family is probably one of the hardest things that I've had to consider. But you just have to recognize what's best for yourself. And I just wanted to make this video for you because I want to see, I'm getting emotional, my words are getting stuck. I want to encourage you to take your life to the next level, and don't be afraid of transformation, because even when it's uncomfortable, that's usually when you know, and it's a really good indication of going to the next phase, and it's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable. And if you can have someone there encouraging you and holding your hand when it needs to be held, or giving you a gentle push forward and saying it's okay to take this next step, then or stories that you want to tell about your transformation and going through something similar, I would love to hear about it either in the comments below, or you can